Welcome to Podcapers, the official podcast of a place to hang your cape. And this week, the kind of ship I like is the one that has sails on it. We're talking about Avatar shipping. Cue the music. Hello there, Capers, and as I said, welcome to Podcapers, the official podcast of a place to hang your cape. My name's Scott James Merridew, and this is the show where we talk about various geek and nerd-related topics, and I'm joined each week by a very special different guest. We have two very special different guests on this week's episode. Give it up, Capers, for Jillian Diblasio and the Chewie to my Han, Mark Russell. How are you guys?
Just peachy.
Yeah, it's fine, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the wrong 2 years to ask people how they are. But we want to take, there's all sorts of things going on in the world right now. We want to take your mind off of them just for a little bit when we talk about some inconsequential fluff that matters to no one. But before we do that, we've got to talk about the news. I love that sound clip. Want to use it all the time. Yes, there has been a bunch of pop culture news in recent days, and not a ton of stuff, but still stuff worth talking about. First of all, the news on everyone's lips. The release of the long-awaited, much-fabled Snyder Cut. I'm going to do a review of it next week! Mind your own fucking business! I mean, are you guys excited for this?
No, I don't have HBO Max, so I don't care.
Neither do I.
Mark?
Nope, not interested. Nope.
I mean, I can think of one person who's excited, the person who's going to edit this episode, but, I mean, for me, the Snyder Cut is a lose-lose scenario. If it's, for some reason, better than the original, maybe even good, then it's a DC movie that's actually good. I still won't enjoy it because I am a joyless husk. But if it's bad, then I get to watch another bad DC movie all over again. And I've only just gotten over Wonder Woman 1984. I need a break. It's still a bit of a way until the new Suicide Squad. It's Suicide Cult, but frankly, that's what it puts me in mind of, this whole thing.
Don't worry, Scott, we have the Falcon the Winter Soldier out next week.
That is a very good point, and I am very much looking forward to that. I mean, again, I've only just gotten over the awesomeness of WandaVision, and now I'm about to get Falcon the Winter Soldier. Don't worry, Capers, we will also review that when all the episodes have finally been released. I have no desire to talk about it before then. I want a complete and finished product. Anyway, speaking of the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder has broken his silence on the allegations against Joss Whedon, that never-ending labyrinthium mind fuck. So, Joss Whedon's been criticised by Ray Fisher and just a whole host of other people about his abuses on set in projects both present and past. And Zack Snyder, like I said, broke his silence on that after family tragedy forced him to take time off from the movie, meaning Joss Whedon got taken in as a replacement. And Snyder basically said he wasn't aware of the abuse because, obviously, for good reason, he had other things on his mind, and no one told him about that because, quote, the last thing they wanted to do was call me complaining about them having a hard time shooting. But he nevertheless expressed sympathy for the cast, saying that they're great actors and that he was very sorry they were put in an unhealthy situation. And good for him. I'm not a big fan of him as a filmmaker, but I'm glad that he's finally spoken out about this.
I mean, yeah, sure. Cool.
There's not really much more you can say about that.
I mean...
His reason for leaving was, incredibly tragic, so what can you say?
Well, I mean, one thing we will say is that Ray Fisher and a bunch of people have come up in great support for the Snyder Cut, saying that it's the true vision, that it's going to be much better, and I mean, for DC fans, hopefully it will be. I've already made my position on that perfectly clear. Moving on to other news, Sonic 2 has begun production.
Yay!
I mean, yes, say good. Do we need a
I do say good.
2?
I gotta tell you,
Yes!
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I watched it for the first time because it was available for streaming, and I really enjoyed it. It was a nice, cute film, and Jim Carrey made the movie, and and to put it into perspective, I watched Gladiator for the first time right before that, and I enjoyed Sonic 1,000 times more than Gladiator.
I mean, I don't blame you. I mean, I like Gladiator from like a film appreciation perspective, but it's not a feel-good movie.
But even from like an appreciation standpoint, I mean, I was just kind of like, okay, like, yeah, this is fine, I guess. But I mean, yeah. Do you know what Gladiator is? Gladiator is the thinking dude bros movie. You know, those kind of assholes that think they're very intellectual, but they're just jock bastards. Yeah, that makes sense. No, that totally makes sense, because the whole time I'm like, well, I can't really feel bad for Russell Crowe's character, like, wanting revenge when he's clearly making side eyes at that other woman after his wife and child were fucking murdered. It's like, sure, I guess you should get revenge, but I'm not really sure about that. It's like the studio execs were like, okay, we need a love interest for this guy. Yeah, but his wife and child were murdered, so I don't think he'd really be into anyone. Nonsense! How else will we know that he's straight? Is that relevant? Of course it's relevant! It's that kind of mindset. But obviously, Mark, you're excited for Sonic 2, clearly.
Woo! Yay! I'm so excited! I just can't hide it! And I look forward to doing our review of you, Scott. We bash your head against the wall.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I had with the Sonic live-action movie. My ending thoughts were, it's not as bad as I feared, but it's not as good as I hoped. It was just sort of one of those movies that I see, mildly enjoy, and then move on from. And honestly, there's nothing really wrong with that. But considering what an icon Sonic the Hedgehog is, I was hoping we might get something a bit stronger. Who knows? Maybe Sonic 2 will be stronger. It's got a reasonable foundation to base off of. If they bring back Jim Carrey, if they, don't include any of those weird new characters like the Owl. Who the fuck was the Owl? Do you know who the Owl was, Mark?
New character. Look, as long as they got Tails in there, they're probably going to bring Knuckles in. Hopefully, they'll take it to Sonic's world and they'll have a blast with it. And plus, it's the first time Sonic's actually had like a character arc. Plus, it's like the first time Sonic's had like a character arc or a personality in like 15 years. So give me a break. I need some damn character growth.
Well, I think that's slightly unfair. We all remember Sonic's magnificent character arc in the much-beloved video game Sonic 06, where he had to decide whether or not he wanted to fuck Lacey Chabert.
Doesn't count. It's retconned anyway.
Of course not. Of course it doesn't count. That video game was crap. But you're absolutely right. So, who knows? Maybe Sonic 2 will be much better. Wish them a safe as social distance production. I'm sure Sonic will be keeping very far from people. But I also bring this up because as it was announced that Sonic 2 had begun production, it was also announced that they had wrapped production on the live-action Netflix-led Cowboy Bebop series.
That's a thing?
Apparently.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Rumors about it ages ago. I think you did too, Jillian, and we just assumed it went away. Apparently not. Apparently they were making this.
I was really fucking hoping it was gone. I have no faith in this at all. And I never did, ever since they first announced it years ago when Keanu Reeves was attached to the project.
And the sad thing is, a few years ago, Keanu Reeves might not have been the worst choice for Spike Spiegel. John Cho is a good actor, but I don't really see him in the role. But I don't not see him in the role, who knows. But my greatest concern is that this will be the latest in a distressingly long line of live-action Western anime adaptations that completely fail to live up to the original source material.
Yeah, that's also why I just give up. Just give up.
God.
Because, I mean, what was the last anime adaptation we had? Was it the Death Note movie, or...?
No, wasn't it Alita, Battle Angel?
Alita was really good.
Yeah, that.
Or Ghost in the Shell.
God.
Alita Battle Angel was not good. It was
tolerable, it was.
Mark.
It was tolerably good.
Tolerable.
It was tolerably good.
Tolerably good because it had Christoph Waltz in it, and the girl playing Alita was
amazing.
Nice.
I don't know. I got bored. I stopped watching it. I was watching it on a plane, and I was like, "This is really taking a long time to like get to the good stuff." And then I just switched to something else.
It's weird.
This is the problem because because at least Battle Angel was based on a manga, which at least has several volumes and stuff. So, and the stories on those things are pretty spread out. I'm not a big manga reader, so to condense that down into a movie, you either got to cut stuff out, which will make people angry, or include stuff in, which wouldn't make it a very good movie. And so it's one of the most tricky things to adapt, which is why do people do it? Why do students do it? I'll tell you why. Because they're hugely popular with the youth. But just because it's popular doesn't mean it's possible. I mean, maybe somewhere out there's someone who can do a genuinely good anime adaptation that feels familiar for the source material, but it was also is accessible to Western audiences. But here's the thing. Anime, be it subbed or dubbed, isn't really, with the best will in the world, that accessible to mainstream Western audiences. You have to really get into a unique kind of mindset. I liken it to watching a Shakespeare play. You can watch it and appreciate it, but imagine if every play, or indeed every television show, was structured and spoken and staged in that style. You'd either be really into it or you wouldn't be into it at all. And it's a similar sort of thing with anime. It's a sort of, you have to adapt a unique sort of psychological mindset to really appreciate it, which is something I frankly struggle with, it being the useless Philistine that I am, which is why I'm so kind of annoyed about Cowboy Bebop, because it's one of the few animes that I really, really enjoy and have watched all the way through. So I don't need a live-action version. Why are you giving me one, Netflix?
Nobody needs a live-action version.
No, exactly.
I've sat through live-action Full Metal Alchemist, and that was sucked.
Why would you do that?
Because it was on Netflix. Full Metal Alchemist, look what they've done.
Yeah, but
I know, but the characters
the thing. The Japanese productions aren't that good either. Half the time.
Okay, that's great. So if they can't even do it, why should we be able to do it? I don't know. I mean, are you looking forward to it, Mark?
Nope. I'm probably going to watch it.
There you go, then. There you go. And on that note, that completes the news. Before we go any further, we've got some ads for you. Take care.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Weren't those some lovely people trying to sell you some stuff? Okay, so now we need to talk about our main topic for the evening. Shipping. I've got to be honest with you, Capers, I am not a massive shipper, okay? I'm not a massive shipper. There are characters that I like seeing together. Cat Dora forever! But
Woo!
It's one of the... I mean, there's a whole community, there's a whole fandom, there's a whole sub-fandom centered around purely shipping. And it's something I've never really been into. I do not pass judgment. I'm not saying it's weird, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying... Like, you do you, people. You do you. But I also feel the need to understand it better. And I feel like if I'm going to dive into this, like I've delved into other geek topics like fan fiction and cosplay, I am going to need to do it through something that I personally enjoy. And considering the fact that there has been a bevy of Avatar news recently, what better place to start than Avatar The Last Airbender? Because we all love Avatar The Last Airbender.
Yes, we do.
Unless you're Nickelodeon, it takes you 15 years to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, they did try and make a live-action movie about it. They did try and capitalize it. It's not their fault that that movie was spawned from the genital wart of Satan himself.
I mean, it was I would say it was at the very least 90% their fault.
Why
would you hire M. Night Shyamalan for this movie? That's really why it's their fault.
Can't do a plot twist.
Absolutely. I mean. Oh, God.
The plot twist was that all the names were pronounced wrong.
Ugh.
Can you at least tell me your name? It's Ong. Are you sure it's Ong? Not Ang? Although I think I read somewhere that actually in Chinese or Tibetan or Nepalese or something, it is pronounced Ong.
Yeah, no. The names that were changed for pronunciation purposes are pronounced correctly in the live action. Like, he did do that because they would be pronounced correctly. The problem is nobody gives a fuck. And they want the names the way that they're explained in the show.
That's a very good point. You might as well continue the mistake for familiarity's sake. But we can't talk about that movie because we'll be here all fucking day. But considering that they have been on Netflix and Korra reunited the franchise, there's all sorts of comics that range from pretty good to... I've read a few of them. They're fine. They're just fine, but they're fine. Jillian is shaking her head and absolutely...
I hate all of them.
Oh dear.
Fair enough. But at least we can argue that the core series, Avatar and Legend of Korra, are great. And doubtless there'll be many other great shows and movies coming our way. So it's good to do this little refresher course on the ships, the relation ships, because Avatar, The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra are full of relationships. Some might even say that was a bit of a down point for the first season of Legend of Korra. We don't need a love triangle. Why would you think we need that? I mean...
so that we can have our wars!
Death! Blood! Murder! No. We don't need that. So, as I'm not a huge shipper, and I'm given to understand that you guys aren't massive shippers either, but you do have opinions.
Oh yeah, I got opinions.
Same.
Mark, you've got opinions?
I have opinions. I don't ship people hardcore as some people do, but I have opinions.
So, before we go any further, before we go into your opinions, I think we need to establish for myself a baseline. Let's go through the ships that I actually give a fuck about, of which there are 2, 3 maybe? Across both shows, mind you.
Fair.
The only one I really cared about in Avatar The Last Airbender was Aang and Katara.
Yeah.
That's it. Because, I mean, they were... Even then, though, it was sweet from Aang's perspective, but Katara, for the most part, I don't think she was really into him.
I mean, I think it depends on how you interpret the Cave of Two Lovers episode.
That's a very good point. That is, for the ship at least, that's a pivotal episode.
Yeah.
Not to mention, it gives us the Grammy Award-winning song, Secret Tunnel! Secret Tunnel! Oh, I love that tune. It's quite the jingle. Anyway, so, thought of that episode, they're being chased by people, blah, 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 blah. They gotta go through the Cave of Two Lovers, the people who founded Omar Shu, who learned earthbending from badger moles. I thought people got the bending from the lion turtles. No one cares.
Here's me on the scale of caring. I'm at 0.
No one cares. And they go in, and there's a whole... I mean, the episode is funny, but it's full of a lot of romantic tropes that I find frustrating and annoying, such as... Oh, you misunderstood what I said slightly, and now you're all huffy and angry, even though I am awkward and try to explain myself, only making the situation worse. Oh, I wonder if we'll get together. I hate that. Like, unless you're going in the adorkable route, forget it!
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what's your take? What's your guys' take on that episode specifically?
I mean, I don't really know. I feel like it's one of those things where, like, each time I watch it, I get, like, a different opinion. So the last time I watched it, I was under the opinion that they did kiss in the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when I first watched it as a kid, when the episode first came out, and I did not get that impression. So again, I think it's up for interpretation.
That's a very good point. And for my make, I mean, I think they were going to go a kiss, but then they didn't at the last minute. So that's my interpretation. Bear in mind, I did not watch Avatar when I was a kid. I watched it when I was in university. So that's a early 20s something mindset. I mean, Mark, what do you think happened?
Well, it's book 3, sorry, when Aang kisses Katara that first time, she's shocked by it. So that kind of implies that they didn't kiss in the cave.
Yeah, but then Katara blushes when they leave the cave. So she definitely has at least some kind of feelings for him at that point, or is at least thinking about it. Because why would she blush?
I mean, when does nurturing maternity turn into romance?
That is a very good point. That's going to lead to a topic of conversation that might be illegal in some countries. So we're going to skip over that. And
okay.
My worry with the ship is that it's very one-sided. And half the problem is, and this is a problem that we're going to revisit later in Legend of Korra, and you know what I'm referring to, is that we don't really... we see the beginning of the relationship, but we neither see the culmination nor indeed the development of the relationship. I mean, we do get that a bit in the comics, but the development of the comics, again, Jillian is shaking her head,
It's not good.
It's not good. It's basically them using sort of like old married couple pet names.
Yeah.
It's
bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
Like, they call each other sweetie, and it's like endearing, but not really what we were after.
Yeah, no.
Doesn't help the fact that they are kids. Like, they've been through a lot, they're forced to mature beyond their years, but they are kids. This is what made the whole relationship angles in Legend of Korra much more palatable for me, because they were much older. Also, equally so in the Kyoshi books. I still need to finish reading the first one. No spoilers!
I mean, here's the thing. I kind of agree with that. That's why I feel like people do gravitate towards Zutara, because it does have... Like, here's the thing. Zutara is more interesting to watch, but I feel like Katang is more what I would want in my own relationship. If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense, because we all want certain things out of a relationship, but we also want certain things out of our entertainment. And here's the thing, as much as I like the idea of Katara, what's the name of the ship?
Katang.
Katang.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get all the names of the ships right, Capers. We're just going to have to make our peace with that. But with Zutara, I feel like there's... If they had done it, I would have also liked that, because there's interesting concepts there. There's pathos, and also she's Water Tribe, he's Fire Nation.
Yep.
You know, their relationship could be the unity that the four nations need in this time of strife and divisiveness.
Yep. Yeah, the problem with Zutara, I feel like, is that they kind of screwed it up, like the potential for it in season 3, because the issue is that Katara doesn't get over, like, stop hating Zuko until episode 16 of season 3, and it's not enough time for her to go from I don't hate you anymore to let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, you need more time to develop that.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
You're absolutely right. The time of the season, and it's not like he didn't have an interesting relationship of his own with, was it Mai?
Oh yeah, I hated that. I hate that pairing so much.
I mean, because here's the thing. You said you weren't a hardcore shipper, Jillian. I think that may have been a lie.
I just hate... Okay, listen. I don't have a problem with Zutara. Katang is fine. I like Katang. It's canon, whatever. But Mai and Zuko, I fucking hate that ship so much. The way it was portrayed in the show is so bad and so toxic that it's like, it just feels like they just put Zuko with Mai so people would stop bitching about Zuko with Katara.
It does feel like something of an afterthought, and I thought the development later on was kind of sweet, like when they are compatible and where their misery, air quotes, made them grow closer. What I didn't like was certain scenes of that beach episode when she was horrible to him, he was horrible to her, and they were just dysfunctional. That I didn't like. Even
before that, his line, he has a line, and it's, "You're so beautiful when you hate the world." Who the fuck says that? Who the fuck says that in a relationship?
Poet, that's who.
Yeah, no, get out of here with that fucking terrible writing. Just go.
Do you know what it's like? It's like the episode of The Simpsons where comic book guy dates Principal Skinner's mother. And they just bond over the fact that they hate things like sunsets. Thank God there's only one of those a day. Could it be any more orange? Like that. That's a joke. That's a one-off joke in The Simpsons. And they made that the cornerstone of their relationship in the show.
Exactly, and that's the problem.
Worst episode ever.
I mean, do you know what would have been interesting? Leaving aside Zutara, whatever it is, if Zuko got together with Ty Lee, because then we'd have a gender flip version of Andy and April from Parks and Rec.
Yeah. I mean,
You're not convinced.
I prefer Zuko with Jin from his story in Tales from Ba Sing Se, his little date. That's, I think, the best chemistry that we have seen Zuko with a female character besides Katara. Like, is that small little date. That was, like, the best.
Do you know what's going to be interesting? Years after that, she's going to see some, like, news from the Fire Nation and see a poster of Zuko. Like, holy shit, I went on a date with the Fire Lord! Oh my god!
Exactly.
Oh god, I mean, here's the thing. Zuko, I mean, his whole character arc was sort of devoid of romance and girls, and that's why his one date with Jin was so important, because it was him being a normal kid just for a little bit.
Yep.
And then when he's back in, like, the Fire Nation nobility and whatever, and he's dating it's... I can never remember. It's like, sure. It's like that whole aspect is just sort of forgotten about, and he's just like, okay, yeah, we're dating. Sure, whatever. And... I don't know. We needed something a bit more than that. We needed a bit more depth.
Yeah. I also just think, part of the reason why I like Katara with Aang is because you have to remember, in the beginning of the show, Katara was a person that had to grow up fast. She had to be the mom of her family. Like, she had to grow up fast. So she needed an Aang who still knew how to be a kid to, like, bring her back from that. And so I feel like Zuko has the same problem, where he forgot what it was like to be a kid. He didn't get to be a kid. So he needs somebody that can pull him back also, which is why I don't think May was ever a good fit for him, because she had her similar problems.
Yeah, it's, she doesn't really act like a kid, he doesn't really act like a kid. And if they played into that, it might be kind of interesting, but ultimately it wasn't. The only really positive that came out of it was that he sort of inspired her to strike against Azula. Yeah. But then you might argue that her character development coming out of her relationship with this guy isn't necessarily the best way to go about that. I don't know. Mark, what are your thoughts?
I do actually remember when Zuko and Mai even got together. Was that at the start of book 3, or did they kind of establish it in book 2?
Yeah, it's the start of book 3.
I mean, they don't exactly give it a lot of attention.
Yeah, there's no real build-up. I don't really remember much interactivity between the two characters until the start of season 3.
Yeah, they just... I don't even think Mai talked about Zuko before then.
There were little hints that she had a crush on him or had feelings for him. We don't know how Zuko felt about her, but then
that flashback.
It's just like they're just dating all of a sudden.
Yeah, as you say, Mar, that flashback episode. Yeah, and I don't like that relationship just out of nowhere. Build up to it. Tease us a little bit, why don't you? Jesus.
Don't kink shame me!
Anyway. And so, yeah, that's... Katang is the only ship I really care about. But let's examine a few more from Avatar The Last Airbender before we move on to Legend of Korra and that whole whirlpool of complexity. I mean, okay, so we got Katara and Jet.
I mean, it was fine until he became like a sociopath.
So one episode. One episode.
Yeah, one episode.
So 10 minutes, basically. It was fine for 10 minutes. There's a good solid 10-minute block of him sweeping her off her feet before, whoops, terrorism.
Yeah.
It is ambiguous death.
Well, I mean, it wasn't meant to be ambiguous, but it ended up being ambiguous just because, I guess, I don't know if like the censor stepped in or that's just was the plan the whole way through.
No, he 100% died.
Oh yeah, we know that. But the show doesn't present it in that way.
I don't think they were allowed to show it.
I don't know.
They probably weren't allowed to.
And so that's another one for Katara. But then we've got... okay, so let's move on to Sokka.
Oh yeah, this is where the fights happen too.
Oh no! Oh no! I wouldn't want to... I wouldn't throw any jet fuel on this fire.
This is kind of wacky time-wasting nonsense I've been missing.
I personally don't care. I just like watching other people fight over who Sokka should be with.
He should be with the moon! He should be married to the moon! Oh god, I mean, here's the thing. Before Sokka could really be in a relationship, he needed to learn to respect women, which is part of his character development, plays a big part of that, which is where Suki came in and was a great positive influence. But I'm glad that she didn't do that within the confines of a relationship, because if there's one thing I hate, it's relationships where it seems like one person's job is to fix the other person. I hate that. I loathe it. No.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
That's kind of where I think some of the problem would be with Zuko and Katara. Is that Katara would end up being Zuko's therapist. So, like, that's the relationship, and that's not a relationship.
No, it's not. It's, like you say, it's a relationship between a patient and a therapist. It's
exactly.
Not good. You should definitely support your partner, be there for them, help them, but it's not your job to make them a better person and make them happy, healthy, and functioning. That's their job. They need to seek outside sources to help with that. So, yes, let's break this down. Sokka and Suki. The longest running relationship is, argue, his first, not necessarily a relationship, but definitely his first crush, first romantic person that was in his life. And I really like the fact that starts when he's willing to put on a dress. He was doing what Harry Styles was. Just saying. And it's so interesting because she sort of pops in and out of the show, but while she doesn't have a clear personality, she doesn't really have a character arc. Out of all the characters that sort of end up as part of the main gang, as it were, by the end, she's the one that gets the least amount of development. Stuff happens with her. She's not underutilized. It's just, she's pretty much the same at the end of the show as she's at the beginning of the show. And that's why I'm not 100% into their relationship.
I don't mind it because I think on the other end of the spectrum, you have something like Ty Lee and May where they were kind of rushed, I feel like, in that fucking beach episode. Like, I would rather have somebody that hasn't yet gone through their journey, like, in terms of, like, who they are as a person, as opposed to having somebody go through that journey and have it be rushed as fuck and just super annoying to watch. Personally.
I mean, I don't blame you, yeah. I mean, but I'm just on the perspective, like, I like relationship between characters that are two unique individuals first that sort of bond together. And I mean, I get it. She was a minor character promoted to a series regular, I guess. But it didn't seem like, I don't know, she couldn't have been as much of a presence as she could have been. A lot of times she was just sort of there, which is fine, but I wanted her to be more than there. She's a Kyoshi warrior, for fuck's sake. There's a lot of stuff you could do with that. And then you've got Princess Yue. Oh dear. Princess Yue. So, first of all, can I just say how glad I am they gave her much more character development and indeed developed their relationship much better than what they did in the movie. You know what I'm referring to.
We believe in our beliefs as much as they believe in theirs.
Oh, oh, it hurts.
Worst dialogue ever.
Worst dialogue ever. Worst hairstyle ever. Combined with a certain camera angle.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the penis hair, but you know.
I mean, I want to find the person who pointed that out to me and strangle them, because now, not that I go back to it that often, but whenever I think of that character, if I see that scene, it's all I can see. You can't unsee it. And I feel like if no one pointed that out to me, I might not have noticed. but I probably would have done, to be perfectly honest. Like it's like the analytical side of me fighting against the sexually repressed side of me. Like, who's gonna win? It could be anyone. It's anyone's fight. Okay, but like I said, the show did a much better multi-series, establishing a personality, building up the relationship between him and her. Like, their love is forbidden. It's very sweet, and you feel like it could have gone even further if it weren't for the fact that, his girlfriend turned into the moon.
That's rough, buddy.
That was really sad. That was a really sad moment in the show.
Yeah, it was really sad, and what was interesting for me, though, and this is both for good and for ill, what was interesting for me was that the effects of him being in love with her and almost being in a relationship with her, coupled with her entire death, wasn't immediately dismissed. They felt the repercussions of that, well, Sokka at least felt the repercussions of that for many episodes after. Like in the clip I just played, even though he's in a relationship with Suki and is a very happy relationship with Suki, he's still just a little bit sad over the fact that his first girlfriend died and turned into the moon. It's that's the sort of thing that doesn't really go away. And I liked that. That was interesting for Sokka. And now we get into the whole thing of a female character's death in service of the character development of a male character. Sort of thing that is often called, but isn't really, as far as I'm aware, called Girlfriend in the Refrigerator. You guys are familiar with this, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And, for me, Girlfriend in the Refrigerator is when you create a female character with the express purpose of killing her off, or you don't know what to do with a female character, so you kill her off just to get out of the way. I think that's what Girlfriend in the Refrigerator is, but I see why people make the comparison with this female character died. Let's see how it impacts the man. And that's kind of annoying in its own right. But, this is the thing, that this is part of the tragedy of the ship, is that whilst it could have gone further, it didn't get a chance to. Do you guys think that would have worked out between the two of them?
Probably, but honestly, I never really thought about it because, Yue's destiny was always to become the new moon spirit. That was always what she was meant to do.
Really?
Yeah, it had nothing to do with him. They said in the freaking episode that, the reason why her hair is white is because the moon spirit gave her life, and the dad was given a vision that said, one day she's going to become the moon.
Yes, so I forgot about the whole dad vision thing. I knew, I remembered that, got white hair because of the moon spirit, but I didn't know it was a destiny to specifically die to bring back the moon. But I guess, this is the problem in a word like Avatar, where destiny is potentially a real and tangible thing. It's just don't I get any choice? What, I have to be a cabbage merchant? Alright, fine. Maybe I want to do something else, Dad! Maybe I want to be a beet merchant! But then again, my beets doesn't really have the same, punch to it as my cabbages. Who knows? Were there any other Sokka? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're forgetting the big one over here.
So let's talk about the blind bandit herself, Toph and Sokka. So this led to unexpected consequences. Rey, the Legend of Korra. Who exactly is the father of Toph's kids?
Well, we know one of them.
Well, yeah. But Toph reveals that Lynn's father was this guy, nice guy, didn't work out. But who's is it Su Yin?
Yeah, I think that's her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's Su Yin's dad? Because we know that they are half sisters and everything. So, could it be Sokka? We don't know. We may find out one day.
They'll never tell us.
Yeah.
You never know. This new Avatar Studios thing, a lot of stories they could tell. Maybe they might go there.
I swear to God, we better get an Iroh's journey into the spirit world, or I'm done.
That would be very... I mean, if they ever do an anthology movie, which is something I mentioned before that I'd quite like to see, I like it to be narrated by Iroh, like in the spirit world. And he'd be like the framing device. Maybe he's talking with the spirits and telling all these stories. Or the spirits are telling these stories to him and stuff. I think that would be interesting. But anyway, so yeah, much like with Aang Katara, the whole Sokka Toph thing seemed very one-sided, with Toph being into him. Was that the impression you guys got?
Yeah, pretty much.
And, I mean... Again, because I only care about Katara. Like, it's sweet, it's cute, and like a little side thing, but I wasn't interested in Toph for her relationship with Sokka. I wasn't clamoring for them to...
Kiss, kiss for love.
I just wanted her to...
Wow.
I just wanted her to throw rocks at people. You thought that I would include an Oran High School...
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Thing?
Wow.
You know me so little, Jillian. You know me so little. Anyway.
You just got done saying that anime was so hard to get into.
I've seen, like... that's the thing is, I've only seen, like, 4 episodes, and I was done. I'm like...
Oh my god.
You did better than me.
How do you only get through 4 episodes?
Like I said, it's a mental thing. It's hard for me to get into. It's not that I don't try. It's that it's just not my kind of thing. But I make the effort. Fucking hell, I try. I watched the whole of season 1 of Attack on Titan. I deserve a fucking medal.
Hey.
You are watching Attack on Titan?
I watched the first season and that's it. I'm done.
Oh my god.
I'm still watching it.
Bro.
It's too intense. I
binged that shit right before season 4 came out.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What's going to happen?
It's a good show. I'm not making quality judgments.
Jillian, are you still watching it? Jillian, are you still watching Attack on Titan? Yeah.
I mean, every Sunday when the new episode comes out, hell yeah.
Well, I'm reading the manga, and I would just say, I'm sorry. I'll just leave it at that.
I mean, you know, people are gonna die, you know. I read up to the manga when they got to the, like, right before they got to the basement, and then I was like, yeah, I'll just watch the anime. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think I speak for all of us when I say...
Who cares?
Moving on! We're not gonna fall down an anime rabbit hole, people. Keeping us
someday.
Someday. So, yeah, the thing I liked about Toph was that... maybe it's just because of how my brain works. I don't know. But I wasn't interested in Toph as a potential romantic partner. I just liked the fact that she was kicking the shit out of people, was being a mentor to Aang. And, again, it doesn't help the fact that these are kids. These are kids.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the main reason why you watch Toph, but at the end of the day, she's a person. Like, and she's 12, like, you know, young kids, you know, they develop crushes on people. And it's usually for, you know, arbitrary reasons, like, oh, we always joke with each other, so, you know, I like him because we're always joking with each other. You know, it just makes her feel more human.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because when I was a kid, I didn't really have those kinds of feelings. I definitely do now as an adult. But honestly, I mean, so minor announcement, Capers. I believe, and I'm not entirely sure, that I might be demisexual. It's something I'm still figuring out and I'm not entirely sure of, but it makes a lot of sense to me, and it's something I feel comfortable saying about myself. I think that's sort of informed a lot of my perspectives on relationships in entertainment and stuff. Because it's not something I'm not into, but it's not something I'm entirely focused on either. So, I don't know, maybe that's why I'm just not entirely into the whole Toph Sokka thing. And I just like it for like, oh, how cute, she thinks Sokka saved her from drowning and tried to kiss him, but it turned out to be Suki, and she said, you can let me drown now. That's funny, not, oh no, she should have kissed Sokka, why? I mean, again, different people have different level of reactions to those sort of things in general. I just think that's sort of informed my viewpoint with these kinds of things. I mean, what do you guys think?
Oh, no, I just thought that Betsy was funny, and, like, it's like, you know, you feel bad for her because of how embarrassing it is. I never,
thought it was hilarious.
watched that scene. It was like, oh, man, they should be together.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was very much just like... I thought it was very funny. I didn't really freak out about it. It's like, yeah, she's got a slight crush on Sokka. It's funny. Let's move on.
Yeah, maybe. And so this is why there's a big question mark over the gap between Avatar and Korra. Because, I mean, I've heard, and I can't confirm this for certain, but some people say, considering the fact we never see her in the flash forwards / flashbacks from Korra, we never see Suki. The consensus seems to be that Suki died quite young. And that maybe Toph and Sokka had something going on. Like Ginny said, we probably will never get a definitive answer to that, but who knows, we might do. Which sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's likely that Suki died young. I mean, you know, it's also because they kind of got written into a hole, because originally Korra was just supposed to be a miniseries. So I think the idea was that most of the main characters had been dead for Korra, but then because they got renewed for all these different seasons, they're like, oh shit, we gotta fucking bring some people back or something. So I think it's more of they were put between a rock and a hard place, and less of Suki clearly died young.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're not entirely wrong. It's victims of their own success. And that's why I think that goes a long way to explain why the 4 seasons of Korra feel so disparate in terms of quality. I don't think any of them are truly awful or even bad, to be perfectly honest. Even the first season, I don't think it's bad. It's just, it feels very different from the rest of the show. In fact, all the seasons feel different from each other. Where compared to, say, Avatar, which feels much more cohesive and much more regular in terms of its quality. So before we go into Korra, I still want to focus a little bit on Avatar. So let's look at some of the more minor characters and their potential relationships. I mean, okay, so to prepare for this, I went on to something called the Shipping Wiki. I mean, at first it was this thing about boats, which I was very excited about, but I thought probably not what I need for the episode. So I went on a different Shipping Wiki and found something for Avatar: The Last Airbender. And it says that the ships are divided between these categories. First, there's het, which I can assume is for heterosexual, slash, which sounds a bit violent to me, and femme slash, and poly, and then there's something called family and something called cargo. Do we know what cargo is?
No, I only, like, back when I was watching Avatar for the first time, it was pretty much just, like, ships and then, like, crack ships. So I don't know what the hell this other shit is.
I mean, from context, like, one of the examples of cargo is My Cabbages! ! Which is the ship between the cabbage merchant and his cabbages.
Oh, I see.
Considering the fact that there was that one scene where he was rubbing his face against one of the cabbages lovingly, fair enough. That's a decent ship to have. It's got other things like the ship between Aang and Air, the ship between Sokka and his boomerang. So that's his own thing. Family includes like the ship between Iroh and Zuko, and in context, I can clearly say it means a platonic uncle-nephew relationship, which we can all get behind because that's probably one of the best relationships, at least in terms of from a storytelling perspective, in the whole show.
Yeah. Oh, also, I wanted to correct. I do know what slash is. I just needed to remind myself what the definition is.
Okay, so what's slash then?
It's just characters between that are the same sex pairings. So slash and then fem slash would be the women, which I'm guessing Ty Lee and Azula are on that list because that was the thing I remember. If it's not on there, then it's just wrong. Your site is wrong. Because that was 100% a
the
pairing.
Ty Zula? The ship between Azula and Ty Lee.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go down this rabbit hole. Defend this ship, Jillian.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. You know, once when Azula gets through her mental issues.
Yeah, once she stops being a tyrannical dictator who uses manipulation tactics and violence to get what she wants.
Yeah.
Sure, I mean, as we all know.
Love knows no gender!
So, yeah, it's,
You know, I'm just saying I could see a very well-written, like, angsty fanfiction being written about this pairing, and I would support it 100% if it was written well.
Probably called something like Lightning Circus or something. I don't know. I don't write this shit. I don't know anything about this shit. I didn't even know. I didn't even know what fem slash was. So that's one example. There's also the relationship between Mai and Ty Lee called Miley.
Yeah, I could see that too. I like that more than Zuko with Mai.
And again, going from the Kyoshi books, there's Rangshi, the ship between Rangi and Kyoshi. Maizula, the ship between May and Azula. And, this will be interesting. Katoth, the ship between Katara and Toph.
Yeah, no. Rangshi, though, 100%. 100%. If that doesn't become canon, I'm going to be pissed.
Rangshi?
Yeah. Kyoshi isn't.
That is. I think that is. Well, I mean.
Did they confirm it?
In the book, yeah.
Oh, they confirmed it.
Well.
Why don't I remember this?
Well, I haven't finished the first book, remember? So. But, spoiler alert for the books, there's a character called Rangi. And. Wait, am I thinking of Rangi? I am thinking of Rangi.
Yeah. I just looked it up. Yeah, the Fire Nation lady. Fire Nation lady.
She and Kyoshi do get together, and it's built up phenomenally. To the point where, when I actually started reading it, it was like, oh my, just turned the page like, and I gave an audible squeak. I was actually reading that bit on the train ride up from Oxfordshire to Edinburgh when I moved up to my new place. I got some looks in the train carriage. I'm not going to lie. I'm not ashamed.
I mean, to be fair, I just thought the book was okay, so maybe that's why I don't remember them actually getting together officially by the end of it, but...
I think based on what I've read of the book so far, I think there's some missed opportunities that I would take advantage of. But, I mean, I judge a theme for what it is and not what I'd like it to be, and for what it is, I think it's quite good. But we're not going to talk about that. I mean, have you read these books, Mark?
Oh, you're going to throw your very nice new light fixture at me, but I haven't.
I was just concerned that I might be spoiling something for you in case you were interested in reading those books.
I may in the future, but not at the moment.
I mean, they're better than the comics, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Even someone who is ambivalent towards the comics, I think is much better than the comics.
Yeah.
And then there's some just random ones. I mean, this basically just seems like a list of all the possible pairings. I mean, some of them have their own pages and some of them don't, so I think that explains why. Like, such as the ship between Toph and Tofuki. No, this sounds like weird off-brand ice cream flavors. And then there's Azutara, the relationship between Azula and Katara. That feels angsty as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no! But then we got the slash pairings. Okay, Rosin, the ship between Roku and Sozin.
I mean, that was going to happen. That happened when the freaking first episode, when their whole backstory episode aired. That was an immediate pairing. Harry Potter 7 had just come out. People were still all Dumbledore and Grindelwald, even though it wasn't confirmed yet. We were jumping all over that shit.
Oh, don't get me fucking started on that.
Oh, don't get it. Yeah, no, I have thoughts, but...
Abort.
Kill him!
No. So, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Then there's stuff that I just don't see. Sokang, Sokka and Aang. Zukang, between Zuko and Aang. Zuko and Sokka. I'm not into any of these, but then we've got Jetco. Oh my.
Jet with who?
Jet with Zuko.
Oh yeah. That I'd support that if they did it.
He's Fire Nation. I'm going to stalk him obsessively because I think he's Fire Nation, not because I like his sweet, sugary ass.
Hey, you get it!
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
I mean, it'd be better than Zuko with May. I prefer that one. I prefer Jet with Zuko over Zuko and May, so, you know.
Oh god, oh no, my mind. He pins him up against the wall. It's like, I know you're Fire Nation.
Yes, exactly! Yes, dark angst fanfiction shit. This is what I want.
I know you're Fire Nation. How can you prove it? I can feel the heat coming off you. That's fire bending.
Okay, I mean, this is, you know, we are shipping 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. It was okay when I was that age, but I'm not sure how it is now.
Once again,
No gender!
we'll use that all the time. Swear to God. Oh God. But then there's stupid ones, weird ones like Cabco, the ship between Zuko and the cabbage merchant. Did they even have a scene together?
No.
No?
I do support the cabbage merchant, though, with the foaming mouth guy.
Oh my God, yes.
Is that on the list? Because it should be.
Let's find out. Let me just look at it.
If it's not, then this site is wrong again.
Nope, I see no indication of the cabbage merchant and the guy.
It's dead. It's dead to me.
Oh God! And it's hey, Avatar Studios, get on that. Maybe they find love together and then they form Cabbage Corp.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the cabbage merchant is sick of these cabbages being missing all the fucking time, so he goes back to Kyoshi. You know, it's a quiet, no avatar around to fuck up his shit, and then he meets the foaming mouth guy. Who loves the avatar, so it's like he hates the avatar and he loves the avatar, and they have to come together for their differences.
And like they have these differences, but they're both like,
Oh no, he's hot!
Yeah. Foaming Mouth Guy is surprisingly a great businessman, and he helps him, like, you know, get his cabbage stand off the ground.
oh God. I mean, we're doing a lot of the work for the people at Avatar Studios over here. We're giving you so many good ideas, guys. Why would you make our stupid / random bullshittery real and canon? Oh God! And then we've got, like I said, the poly shippers. So first on, we've got it's not even a portmanteau of all their names. It's just called Dangerous Ladies. Azula, May, and Ty Lee.
Yes.
Mark, your thoughts?
I'm still lost at cabbage and foamy mouth guy. I'll catch up. Oh God.
Okay, to be perfectly honest, I would really like to see. I mean, I know there's been some TV shows and some stuff that have show these sort of things, but I would like to see more mainstream representation of polyamorous relationships, healthy polyamorous relationships, where everyone's honest, everyone's consenting, everyone's of legal age, and there's no weird religious bullshit. I'm looking at you, Big Love.
I don't think they'd ever do that because technically it's like illegal in the United States.
Illegal in
So I
Japan
don't think they
too.
would ever show it, but
I mean, I know bigamy is illegal, but just relationships, you can have like not a threesome, you know what I mean, a polyamorous relationship, and that's fine, legal above board. But it's something I would like to see. I mean, the only thing I can really think of in terms of animated was that really stupid Futurama movie where Fry unexpectedly is no longer interested in Leela and goes out with this police officer who shares an apartment with all these other guys, and it's just played for laughs. And I don't know, it's something that might be interesting to see if it's done right. Admittedly, it's a trepidatious sort of area, especially for a kid's show. But, I mean, who knows? You know, if you can show it in a really healthy and loving way, there's no reason why you can't do that. Then you've got something like Old Masters, which is a ship between every member of the White Lotus.
that's a little much.
They have libido.
I mean, there's this one guy who goes and, gets a relationship with Sokka and Katara's grandmother. Does he not get to have love?
Yeah, exactly. Master Paku.
And then there's one on here just called Sokka's Loves, which is a ship between every girl who's ever had feelings for Sokka. That's just lazy.
Yeah. Yeah, if Sokka was like an asshole, I would totally be here for it, but...
Oh my god, he's so stupid. He was awful to all of us. Let's get revenge by being happy with each other and moving to a cottage by the sea, where we grow herbs in little window boxes and have a dog named Buster.
Yep.
I can have dreams! And so, and like we said, we've got the family ships that we mentioned earlier. Mentioned Iron Zuko, and there's also Sokka and Katara. There's also the family ship between Zuko and Azula. Not into that. Nope. No, thank you.
Nope.
Because they were never going.
No.
As long as she was there, they were never going to be a happy and healthy family unit, right?
Obviously, they're not. No, I wouldn't touch that with a barge pole.
Yeah. But I do like the fact that the people out there who are shipping people, platonically within the bonds of friendship. So there's something like that. And in case you are interested in any of these pairings, I'd like to point out that this website also has a link to various fan fiction websites where you can peruse your perverted dreams to your heart's content. Let's move on to Legend of Korra. Oh, God! So,
fucking load.
A big part of the first season was the love triangle between Korra, Mako, and Bolin for a little while, but not really, and then also
Asami.
Asami. Thank you. Sorry.
I was gonna say you're talking. Oh, the love square. You mean?
Yeah, the love square. I mean, Bone was only in it for like a hot second, so really it was a.
Yeah, that was bad. I don't understand the point of putting him in it.
Oh God, and yeah, it's a big focus, or at least a reasonable size focus of the first season, and words cannot describe how little I care. I feel like the writers of the show were just felt like it was something that they felt obligated to put in, like, oh, they're older, they're teenagers, let's put in a love triangle because that's what the kids like. And it felt very forced and very off-putting.
Well, if I remember correctly, I believe in one of the behind-the-scenes discussions with Korra, originally Asami was supposed to be a villain, like she was supposed to be in on the whole thing with her dad, but they ended up liking the character so much that they changed it, which completely makes sense because when I saw her character design, I was like, that bitch is so evil, or going to turn evil at some point, and yeah, it's because that was the intention.
She's all elegant and dark-haired and everything. So
yeah, she's the femme fatale.
But she turns out not to be, and I think that's really cool, and
Yeah, I'm glad they changed it.
I'm glad they changed it, but then there's the whole her, Korra, Mako. And I'm just going to say this about Mako.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, that was so disappointing. I think everybody wanted Mako to be Zuko 2.0, and then he ends up with Korra. So this would be the redemption. This would be Zutara. We finally get it. We get the Zutara that we always wanted. And then he ended up being a dick. And the worst character by far. And the fact that he's named after Mako's voice actor was just an extra disappointment. Extra salt on the wound.
You mean Iroh's voice actor?
Oh, sorry. I don't know what I said.
You said Mako's voice actor, but Mako's voice actor.
Sorry, I meant Iroh's voice actor.
Sorry, yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, I thought his character got better in later seasons, but he didn't even crack my list of favorite characters. He's always just kind of there, and that's fine, but he was almost always in scenes with characters that were infinitely more interesting. The list of more interesting characters was all the other characters. It's fine. It's just I was never into it, and I don't think anyone was into it because they dropped that pretty much immediately by the end of the first season, if not beginning of the second season. And then we had a 3-season wait for the ship who's the only ship name that I actually know, Korrasami. So let's talk about that. I like it.
Yeah, me too.
I like it.
Free.
I think it's a great idea. I think they work well together. I would be very interested to see their relationship. But again, much like with Avatar and Aang and Katara, we never really got to see that except for, I think, in the comics. But here's the thing. I think I've said this before, but just in case you forget, I'm going to say again, Capers. When the very last episode aired, which showed them holding hands and going off into the spirit world for a nice holiday, which is the culmination of the whole show, I thought, wow, what a great ending to the show. I'm going to go online and see what other people think about it. Doop-doop-doo. Oh, some people seem to think that Korra and Asami get together. Well, that's just silly. I mean, they were very sweet together, and that would be nice, but that's not what happened. I wonder if the creators have anything to say about that. Oh, they do. They say that was the intention. Oh, that's great, that's great. Then why didn't you show it?
Because they didn't know that they were allowed to show it. That's the problem. That's Nickelodeon's fault.
Yes, you're absolutely right, but if you're not going to show it, why bother doing it at all? Because it's the end of the season, and also, we were meant to infer that by them holding hands? That's it?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. As soon as they held hands, I knew the ship had sailed.
Oh.
It had sailed.
Again, maybe it's the fact that I'm demisexual and repressed or whatever, I don't know. But I just saw them holding hands and thought, oh, What two nice friends. It's like that subreddit, Sappho and her friend, except I'm on the other side of it, just like thinking, oh, these two people holding hands are clearly friends and nothing else. But this is not the case. So maybe I was at fault. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was so fucking obvious and I was just too blind to see it. But they could have hugged, at least. Could they not make them hug? Kiss, maybe? Like
no, that kissing for Nickelodeon, considering that they put the fucking episodes online, yeah. Good luck with that one.
I mean, yes, they would have. Then maybe Nickelodeon would have stood against it, but maybe that would have been the time for them to not get a backbone or anything, but just like push it forward. Because it's easy to include that kind of representation when no one's going to stand against you, but it's when studios are standing against you, saying we're not going to show this kind of thing, that creators need to really push for it. Because especially if it's at the very end of the season, very end of the show, and you know you haven't really got that much left to lose, worst case scenario, they're not going to work with you anymore, which would suck. But if you really wanted to do that, like they clearly did, actually fucking do it. And I feel bad because it makes, when I say these things, it makes it seem like I'm not into this. Like I mentioned earlier that I was into one ship in Korra. This isn't it, but if they had actually, in my view, shown the ship, I would have been into it. So, again, it feels like a missed opportunity. And I know what you're all thinking.
Oh, you suck!
But I stand by that! I mean, are you guys into that ship?
When Korra came out, I was like down with anybody ending up with anyone, basically. Like, I was okay. I did not care who ended up with who. And then it got to a point where, like, you know, Mako's being shitty to Korra, he's been shitty to Asami. Let's just let them both get together. You know what? Fuck this guy. Go off into the sunset together, girls. And then that's what happened. And I was like, good. Good job. Good job, Nickelodeon.
Asami just looks over at Korra and Mako arguing and is just
Honey,
like...
you've got a big storm coming.
Yeah. I want to move away from that to the one ship that I was actually into on this show. I think you know what I'm going to say. What am I going to say?
I honestly have no idea. Are you talking about Varric and
Julie
and his lady?
Varric and Julie. That's a very good guess, but no, that was fun and cool and everything. But Mark, do you want to guess?
I'm going to say Bolin and Opal.
You are correct, sir. You know me so well.
Damn it, my second guess is going to be Amon and his lieutenant.
Oh, yeah.
I shit that so hard.
Steve Blum and Lance Hendrickson just getting it on.
Yeah.
No gender!
But you know what? We'll talk about that. But first, I want to talk about Bolin and Opal. I love Bolin with all my heart. He is my precious little baby, and I must protect him from the world. Him and Pabu. And then there's Opal, and she's so sweet, and I like their relationship. I like his ups and downs. I like how he makes mistakes and isn't perfect, and has to prove to be worthy. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I was super emotionally invested in the last season. That was the one with Kuvira, right? I'm not getting that.
Yeah.
Okay, because can I just shout out Zelda Williams for doing such a good job as Kuvira? Because honestly, thinking about it, maybe a controversial opinion, I think that she was the best villain in the whole Avatar Korra both shows.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not saying there weren't other really good ones, like the Red Lotus from the previous season. Mon was kind of interesting, but underdeveloped. And of course, Azula and the Vile Lord, and Zuko to a certain extent, and Avatar. They were all great. But Kuvira, I've never wanted to see Toph smash someone's face in with a rock more than Kuvira. Not because she was a bad character, because she was so good at being a villain. I wanted to smush her, drive her into the ground, and set her head on fire.
Wow. And
I think it's because the writing on that show is so good. Zelda Williams' performance is so good, and this character sort of mirrors, in many ways, real life people in that they use their indomitable will to enforce their beliefs. Naturally, enforce, not share, enforce them on others, and they do so with military fight, or with a sense of, not necessarily smugness, but aloofness. Which is very hard to portray when you're doing a voice role, because it makes you seem distant or disinterested. Not the case in Kuvira. She was very much engaged, and I very much wanted her to die. So let's have a look on this shipping website to see who gets shipped with her.
Oh, he's definitely with Korra.
I mean, Korra.
Oh God! I mean,
he's married, so
first of all, there's the Su Yin's son or whatever that gets with her.
Batu.
That was. Yeah, but I mean, I can see why some people might ship Kuvira with people, because she's got the whole stern, authoritative, I'm just going to say it, dominatrix vibe, you know?
Okay.
I don't know, maybe that's just me. I don't know. But before we go into all of that, let's look at some of the more, then we talked about Berlin Opals, some of the other, what some of the other ships portrayed actually in the show? There was that airbending thief kid and Janora.
Oh yeah, that was cute.
Yeah.
That was cute. Who else?
Oh, those the
Bolin and Eska.
Oh yeah.
Pairing.
Well, I don't think it was meant to be taken seriously.
Yeah, but it was kind of annoying to watch. I mean, all season 2 kind of sucked.
Yeah, I mean, parts of it really didn't. Like, parts of it were like, oh my god, this is amazing. But then you had to go back.
Like 2 episodes.
2 episodes, but they didn't really make up for all the other episodes, which were just, I liked it, between the relationship between the two of them, when it was just, fun, like, haha, Aubrey Plaza is basically turning Bolin into a slave. That's weird, but funny. What I didn't like was the revelation at the end that Bolin actually may have had some legitimate feelings for her. Dude, she put a skull collar on you and threatened to kill you. Have some standards. No.
Yep.
What else we got?
I did note it.
Just putting this out there. Relationship between Pabu and the giant bear dog thing.
Okay.
Right?
No? Just me? I thought they were sweet together.
Yeah, but not as a ship.
No, I like seeing cute animals together, okay? I'm the guy who goes on YouTube and looks at all the pictures of, platypus making friendships with cats and shit. I don't know, any animal pairing.
Yeah. That is cute, but...
I like that. And then there's slightly more interesting ships, like a ship between Avatar 1 and Rava.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
He carries her around in a teapot. and they're together forever. I don't know if that was the show's intent, but that's how it came across to me.
Yeah. Like I said, season 2 is just like those 2 good episodes with Avatar 1, and like that's it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Then there's Bolin and Ginger. Skip.
Yeah.
Skip.
And finally, like we said earlier, Varric and Julie. Yeah. I'm here for that.
Do the thing.
It just annoys me that they show more about their relationship than Korra and Asami's. Like, again, I know we have the comics, which I've read the Avatar comics, but I haven't read the Legend of Korra comics. So, have you read those, Julia?
Nope.
I read a little bit. Like, I think I read part or a couple of parts of one, and then I stopped because I'm like, why am I torturing myself?
Yeah. I know the feeling very well. And honestly, I think that's kind of just it. I mean, obviously, there's on this wiki lots of things like, Korra and Kovira, as it were, which sounds exactly the same. It's just got the O instead of a U. Korra and Opal. Opal. Why did I say it so weird? I don't know.
Opal.
Pemlin, a ship between Pema and Lin. Can you imagine? What would Tenzin think?
Yeah, exactly.
Oy, oy.
And oddly enough, there is a few poly relationships, like Bolin, Korra, and Lin. Borrelin. Can you imagine?
No.
But there's no familial ships and no cargo ships. So I guess people aren't that as interested in this show as they are Avatar, which makes sense.
Well, remember, you had to wait 3 years between season 2 and 3. We had a lot of time on our hands with Avatar.
That is a very good point. And so talking all this through, I think I have a more keen understanding of why some of these ships evolve. Talking through with other people, are there any ships that we skipped over that either of you guys would like to talk about?
About Tenzin and Lin.
That's a good point. Yeah, the love that was never meant to be.
Oh.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's not really sad for either of them because Lin's sort of married to the job and Tenzin has a moderately happy family life. But it would have been interesting to see, again, new Avatar stories, maybe one day we'll get that, their early relationship. Like,
I mean, I feel like it's sad in the fact that I got the impression that Lin still kind of had feelings for Tenzin, and it just, like, it never worked out because she couldn't be, like, a family person that he did in his life.
Which is highly surprising considering her own family life and how...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not one that's saying we need to have nuclear families everywhere we see, but let's just say that their family tree was sort of fractured, as it were. It wasn't the most...
Yeah.
Yeah. But, that's one interesting idea. So, I think we're going to wrap this up, but before we do that, we're going to have some more ads for you. Check them out. And we're back. Okay, so, final thoughts. Honestly, as much as I've enjoyed talking about this, I think like I said, I've got a greater appreciation for shipping, but I'm still not going to go hardcore into it as sort of a examination of a fandom. Mark, have your thoughts changed at all?
Not really. I think I kind of mostly fall into the same category as you. If there is, I watch a few romantic anime in my time. If there are characters that are in relationships, or they tease their relationships, and I will probably ship them on and off. I mean, I'm a big Naruto fan, as you know. I shipped the hell out of Naruto. Hinata, Sasuke, and Sakura didn't kind of work until after they finished doing Naruto, that sort of thing. But you know, I don't mind shipping. If you kind of try to shove it down our throats, then I'm not interested.
I mean, the biggest sort of, and that's the thing you see when it comes to shipping. Oftentimes, it comes back to the relationship between the creators and the fans. We discussed that in regards of Avatar and Korra. But sometimes it can come back to bite people in a very negative way. I know a lot of CW shows have huge shipping problems. I don't know. I don't watch CW shows. I tried to watch the first episode of that Nancy Drew show, and I just couldn't. I just couldn't. No one looked like they were having a good time in that show. Everyone looked fucking miserable. Anyway. So, I guess what I'm saying is, shipping is, it can be a lot of fun. But if you're going to do it, ship responsibly. Jillian, would you agree?
Maybe.
You just want to see chaos reign. You just want to pour the gasoline and everything, just set the world on fire.
I like watching the chaos unfold.
It's
and
not
just sitting
about
in the
the
back.
shipping. It's about sending a message.
Yep. I will say though, I sincerely apologize to Zutara fans for Netflix fucking over Avatar: The Last Airbender live action adaptation. I was really hoping that Mike and Brian's only issue was that they wanted to make Zutara canon, which I would be 100% down for. You know, different interpretation of the show if they did it right. But it looks like, you know, Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix is just going to suck ass, so I'm sorry.
I mean, is that... Don't be sorry. Is that even going ahead still?
I think it still is. I mean, last I heard, they're still doing it. There's just Mike and Brian left.
Well, good luck with that. I'm sure it'll turn out just as well as their live-action Cowboy Bebop show.
Or the Winx saga.
Ugh.
I have occasionally, once in a while, seen an image of something relating to Winx. I was like, oh, that seems like a thing that I want no part of, and just move on. So I don't know anything about...
here's the thing. I don't know anything about the Winx either, but any idiot on the internet can see a picture of the Winx from like the OG times and then look at the Netflix adaptation trailer and know that these two things do not look alike at all. So,
one of these things is not like the other.
So I'm afraid now that they're going to do that with Avatar. That's my fear.
Well,
instead of it just being a shipping war, which is what I was just hoping the issue was.
Well, however it turns out, let's not forget, we still got the original show and many more shows that could come after that. So if we can survive M. Night Shyamalan's live-action Avatar, we can survive Netflix's live-action Avatar. At least I hope. Mm-hmm. Let's just hope they don't put any penis hair in there. And on that note, I think we're going to end the show. Thank you very much, Jillian and Mark, for joining me today.
No problem.
Yep.
And if you enjoy the show, Capers, please tell your friends. Shout it from the rooftops! And if you haven't already, go back and listen to some of our other super episodes. Like our previous times we talked about Avatar: The Last Airbender. We recently did an audio commentary on that said penis hair inclusive movie. Enjoy that. I know I didn't. And you can listen to the show on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, or at podcapers.com. If you want to get in touch with us, suggest show topics, or maybe come on the show yourself, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at AP2HYC. Thank you very much for Dan Harris for our logo, the lovely microphone, the red and blue 3D glasses. Those are mine. And thank you for listening. But before we end the show properly, just a heads up, we are, on a Place to Hang Your Cape, are going to be running a fan art competition to get some more designs for our merch store. You will have seen the links before, and we'll include the links again. A lot of these will be based on Falcon the Winter Soldier, and this is going to start from March the 19th through to March the 31st. So there will be an article up on A Place to Hang Your Cape in a few days. This is going to go out on the 17th of March, so check back in a few days for more details. And as I said, thank you for listening. This has been Podcapers, the official podcast of A Place to Hang Your Cape.
Zhu Li, do the thing.